Hello everyone, welcome back to the Crystal Chronicles, your Final Fantasy Record Keeper podcast. This is episode number 21, recorded on July 20, 2016. My name is Pierre. I am joined by my two co-hosts. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Hi, it's Ben, as per usual.
And it's Mark, as per usual, as well.
Great. So we thought, we'd change a little bit how we introduce the guys so that you can associate everybody's voice with their name, because usually it might be a little confusing if you're new to the podcast. As well, thanks to Dina for messing up the sequence of launching new events. We didn't have any new event to go with in terms of intro music, so we thought we'd just kick it old school with the very first Final Fantasy music that anybody got to hear if you've been playing since day -1. That was the prelude of Final Fantasy 1. And
it's just so incredible, like the backstory to that song, like the prelude. You guys know it?
No.
Why don't you tell us, Ben?
I mean, I don't know all the specifics, but Nobuo Uematsu, who was the composer for Final Fantasy, he just threw those arpeggios together. I think very, very close to the game's release, because they realized they needed a song for the title. So you just threw the arpeggios together, and it obviously it's so iconic now. But to think such an iconic song was so hastily yet masterfully thrown together is really awesome.
Well, he is a master music, so.
I've seen him in concert. He is really great. I mean, really, really gifted, really talented. So, Final Fantasy 1 through 12.
It is something. I don't think he was doing Final Fantasy 11 though. The online one.
I don't know about 11, but he did 12. I know that.
Yeah, one thing I hope...
He was a composer for 11.
Was he?
Yeah.
Main composer?
Not composition / arrangement is what he's listed as.
Huh, well, what do you know? It's not the first time I've been wrong. So, alright, before we go into the announcements, I figure I'd take a few seconds to talk about something new I introduced to the site that I manage for Final Fantasy Record Keeper, and the site's name FFRK Central. As per a request in our Slack chat, I finally, and I think actually it's something I talked about during the podcast. The request came in through Twitch as well. Maybe it was in pre-show or something. I've put online a new simulator, which is a relic draw simulator. So you get to see what you would win or not win, and it's using the game probabilities as much as possible. So see, right now I'm doing a relic draw 11 items on the first banner of Kain, Rydia, and Relic. Kain, Rydia. And what would you know? I don't have a single 5-star, so I guess that thing is pretty damn accurate.
It's working.
Yeah, big ups to you, dude. I just obviously we discussed stuff about the site, so I knew about it before. But people who were first reading about it on the subreddit were really impressed, and that thing got major upvotes. So big ups to you for releasing this super cool feature that I'm sure people will use in the future.
Well, thanks. And as always, if you listeners find something that's wrong with it, something that's not right, or if you have any other suggestions for the site, please don't hesitate to shoot me an email at ffrkcentral@gmail.com. I try to make all your ideas a reality, so there we go. I don't like using this Tribune to promote the website too much, so we'll just end it there. But just check it out. It's under ffrkcentral.com under tools. Let me see. All right, tools, simulators, and relic draw. And obviously, the way I've named it, simulators, that means we'll have plenty other simulators coming shortly. I really like the idea, so hopefully we'll be able to evolve on that. But moving on to what's really important to you if you're listening to this podcast, the latest announcements for FFRK. Obviously, this is a Wednesday. Wednesday means that there's new stuff taking place of the old stuff at the Crystal Green Exchange store. This week we have, along with the usual 1,000 green mithril, we have the 3 power major orbs, and this week's flavors are white, Oli, and hurt. So get your orbs on. What's that?
My favorite flavors.
Yep. And if you're not like Ben and you haven't spent all of your greens on moats, then, you might be able to get yourself some major orbs.
Dude, it was so satisfying to dump all 20,000 at once and get 20 of each moat.
What'd you do with them?
I dumped them all into Titus in order to unlock the Viking moat, and then I moved on to Bart's and to progress to get the Spellblade Tier 2 moat unlocked. Because I want to build them to be as proficient in their Burst Soul Break as possible.
Okay, so you have light, what's it called for bats? The light of the 4 or something like that?
Yes, yeah. And since those Burst Soulbreak commands are Spellblade type, they will be boosted if I unlock Sphere level 5 of the Spellblade Sphere. So that is my long-term game plan.
And with all those investments, did you get close to it?
Yeah, I unlocked the Red Mage Sphere for Bart's. I mean, obviously, none of us have any 4-star moats at the moment. So
not yet, but soon.
Very
Talk
true.
about it.
But as for now, I can only max out those Tier 1 spheres.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, I get it, because you'll need Tier 2 modes. Oh, yeah, you need 4-star modes to be able to do that. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yep. And did I miss any other announcement? I that was a pretty slow week.
Wasn't?
Yeah. Besides those watching on the stream, watching me try to hit the Behemoth King from the new dungeons we're going to talk about in a little bit with lightning. When the thing says specifically, "Don't hit him with lightning."
You're a rebel going against the establishment, telling the man you want.
The funny thing is, lightning healed him. So I'm not sure why you would want to hit him with lightning in the first place. This is why you read the dungeon descriptions. I often tell people on Slack I don't usually read the dungeon descriptions before I go in. So
nice.
It doesn't really help when you have no idea what you're doing.
We never talked about the apology mithril that we got for an event that is over.
Yeah, that wasn't really super awesome. I mean, they say, okay, so if you missed it, let me go back on it real quick. It said, just one sec, where was it? Wait, when did they do that?
Between the new core dungeons, and the bonus battles.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I don't see it anymore.
You don't see issue resolved with the second coming boss tips?
Oh. Yep, okay. I don't see it on the site, that's why I was wondering. But
you're looking on the site. Okay,
okay, so it says issue detail. The description for this boss stated that, and so on and so forth. And they said this issue was fixed on July 14th, but for some random reason, it took them 5 days to post about it. And I mean, as usual, and to their credit, they gave everyone a free apology material, but they still posted about it after the event was done, over and gone. So it just feels a little bit weird. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, it's a bit off, but as long as they fix it and give us mithril, I can't complain.
And while we're talking about things that are odd, if you're following the blog on my site, I wrote an article called "Tough Love, More Like Tough Luck," where it talk about how Yang's second recurrent materia, Tough Love, is incredibly stupid because it says it, attack hits all targets, but deals slightly less damage. Now, I don't know about you, but looking at it, the damage factor for his attack is 40%, so that means that Yang's attack deals about 60% less damage than it would usually do if it was a normal attack. So maybe that's just me, but that didn't feel slightly at all. And if you compare it to Ida's recurrent materia, Capricious Pugilist, or even core character Bard, materia Zealot, they both have something similar, except that their damage factor is 60%. So Yang's second recurrent materia is worse than a freaking core character materia. So either they really, really dislike Yang, or someone made a pretty bad typo when they put that online. Now, I've also emailed Dana about it, and they took 2 days to reply to say that they will look into this immediately. But quite frankly, I don't really expect anything else in terms of reply or anything. But what do you guys think? Don't you think it feels a little bit under what it should be?
Is that his record materia?
It's second recurrent materia, Tough Love.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I had in my head that was his soul break when we were discussing that. Yeah, that's even worse than a dumb soul break. So yeah, what's the did we talk about this? What's the damage of kick, the ability kick? Isn't it like 60%? Or we talked about the other record materia that were on there, that do like Zealot, right?
Well,
like Zealot's a record.
Yeah,
that's
Zealot
a record
and,
material that attacks.
Yeah, Zealot and Capricious Pugilist, they do 60%. Kick does 130%.
Oh wow! So that, wow,
yeah, he's getting the raw end of that whole deal.
Yeah, especially compared to what the Ranger that just got released, his second record materia.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah. Geez, what a here's a character that we're not going to give anything to. He doesn't get a super soul break. He's already a monk, so exploding fist, full charge for you. His second record materia is just going to be the worst thing ever. That's really bad. I mean, 40%.
Here's why I think it's a mistake, and I'm not a super good writer, so that didn't come across in the article I wrote. But if you look at Zealot and Capricious Pugilist, I can't wait to stop saying that, by the way. Their description goes as follows: attack hits all targets, but deals less damage. Now, compared to Yang's, attack hits all target, but deals slightly less damage. So I'm thinking this recurrent materia was meant to be an 80% damage factor. Because if they took the time to add in the word slightly, my understanding is that it should be stronger than the two previous similar recurrent materials that were on there.
One would think.
But again, we'll see what turns out, how it turns out. But hopefully for Yang, it'll be different, because right now he's not getting anything good out of that.
Just showed up to the party to be rejected.
Well,
go to the back of the line, Yang.
At least they didn't give him ninja abilities. Ooh, snap.
Oh, ninjas. Poor Edge. He's in the corner crying.
And obviously, I got some 5-star items in that campaign. Who'd I get? Hedge and Yang.
Yay!
While we're on the subject, Ben, or was it Mark, one of you guys pre-show reminded us, it was Ben, that yesterday was the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy IV.
Hooray!
Actually, was that the Japanese release of Final Fantasy IV or the US release of Final Fantasy II?
Check, hold on.
Japanese, right?
Was it?
Would that be 1991?
It just, I got it. Shut up.
90. No.
4. Released. Initial release date. Is that in Japan or was that a global release? No way.
If you go to the wiki, it usually tells you.
I'm saying release dates. That was in Japan.
Okay, well, still, it's, you know,
People were playing it 25 years ago.
it's
True.
still pretty impressive.
On the Namco 500 or whatever that system was over there, right?
I don't know. They had some messed
Or
up.
was Final Fantasy IV on Super Nintendo over here?
It was on
It was
Super
on Super
Nintendo
Nintendo.
here.
It was one of the
It was?
earlier.
So it was Super Famicom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was? Okay.
All right. Now, we had an event that we talked about really, really quickly last week. Obviously, by now, most people are able to get the plus, and plus battles out of the way pretty easily. So why don't we cover the ultimate battles for a Summoner Grown, the Final Fantasy IV event that's currently going on. The first one we have is the Tornado Lady Barbarella, has Mark so kindly wrote in the outline that it's a reference Ben is probably too young for.
And I refuted. Yeah, I get it. I'm not like I'm young, but I still appreciate that fantastic 80s.
Or earlier than that, isn't it?
What?
Was it 80s? I think it's earlier than that, isn't it? 70s? It's classy. Either way.
Oh, what the hell is 60s? I'm dumb.
Yeah, early stuff.
Well, shut up now.
Early
It's like-
sci-fi.
So while,
Almost as old
you know,
as me.
while Ben goes ahead and asks his parents what the reference is about,
They're all asleep. Don't bother.
you say Mark, you wrote oh no, okay, he's RNG Tornado. Yeah, I think she's a she. But okay. So basically, how'd you guys like that battle? Did you do it with Cid Mission or?
I did it. Yeah, and I think we'll talk about Cid Missions after we talk about them generally, but it's kind of annoying in terms of the randomness of it, in terms of when she goes into tornado form versus when she doesn't go into tornado form. And if you didn't bring a Dragoon, then yeah, you ate a lot of counter attacks, which was kind of annoying. So
Yeah.
I did not face it with my A team. I just did Cid teams for both of these, but I know some people went in without a Dragoon. So ouch.
Like as a challenge, or they just didn't read the
Yeah,
tip?
maybe they just thought they didn't need to, or
Well. So I did this battle with 2 Dragoons. I brought Fang and Gilgamesh. I just don't have any good relics for Kain. But with using those 2, I was able to manage her tornado form pretty well.
All right.
yeah, you
Personally-
just have to space it out and really watch, and hold your Dragoon until
Yeah.
it's ready to, she goes into form, and then kick her out of form. Just don't queue up a whole bunch of attacks. It's one of those battles.
Yeah, it's one of those battles with the RNG. You end up not doing anything sometimes for a little bit too long because you don't want to launch too many things and then she turns. Sort of like the Final Fantasy VI painting battle where he changes into the goddess and then
The demon. Yeah.
Yeah.
So bring your dispel because our first action is always haste and it takes time to get your things going. Leave your Dragoons ready to jump whenever she changes. Again, she counters magic in both forms, and she will counter any attack that you do while she's in Tornado, including your Dragoon jump with lightning. It's the only time she'll use lightning though. So, or 2 of her other attacks are wind element, and the rest are physical, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check real quick. She's got Aeroga, that's wind, attack, vacuum wave, Gigavolt, and she counters with Maelstrom, that's non-elemental, and that is pretty much it for her. Now, moving on to Lady Faces and Men Snake, or if you prefer, the King and Queen of the Land of Summons. That would be Ashura and Leviathan.
I was kind of in a He-Man mood, in He-Man, like all the characters are named like really stupid names, like Man Beast and Furry Face, and kind of like the old Star Wars Cantina before we knew all their names.
Yeah.
Walrus Head. So, yeah, that's on the show notes, which people can't see, obviously. I have Lady Faces and Man Snake, or the Lords of the Eidolons.
Eidolons.
There you go. Eidolons. That's how you pronounce it. That's how you pronounce that word.
Yep.
Say it twice.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't. Somebody got on me for mispronouncing Wyvern on the last Basics episode. Listen, this is a different realm where people don't even speak our language, so I can pronounce it however I want. You're not an expert, people who are listening, on like Ivalus's language, common speak. So don't get on me. I'm going to pronounce it however
actually.
I want. Exactly, but that's not how I pronounce it, because that's not where my dialect is from, because I was born down by the river, and that's how we talk down by the river. So just
get owned.
Step off.
I'm fairly sure that, the fact that you're doing this podcast with a French-speaking Canadian, my accent alone gets you guys totally off the hook in terms of pronunciation, because when I'm dying...
No matter how we pronounce it, we look good next to you.
Well, yep.
Yeah, it doesn't...
Sitting next to me, you guys look good.
Doesn't one of these guys do earth attacks? I'm not 100% sure on that.
Oh, let's see.
Okay, let's see. So we've got a Leviathan that does water and ice attacks, and Ashura that doesn't do really anything except Karaja, Dispel, Attack, and Isuna. So there's no hurt-based attacks on these guys.
Yeah, but the Dispel hurts if she dispels Shelga. And then you get hit with a big spell. So.
Or the tsunami.
Yep.
Deluge.
And so basically, you have to take Ashura out first, because otherwise she'll revive Leviathan. She is weak to no element and absorb fire, ice, lightning, and water. She can counter physical attack, so you can use draw fire if you need help with that.
However, she is weak to slow, so
she is weak to slow. That is correct. And it's an objective as well, so there's no reason not to take this. You might want to bring in Full Break or Magic Breakdown, because you'll need to use it on Leviathan to get some other medals for the objectives. And Leviathan is weak to ice and water, so that is pretty much it.
Leviathan absorbs ice and water, is what you wanted to say.
Yes.
Wait.
Yes, that's my fault.
The giant water
man.
dragon is indeed
He
not weak
absorbs
to water.
Okay,
That was my fault.
I apologize. I am reading this.
That's my bad.
Because if I look at my monitor, I lose focus, so I try not to look at my screen. So there we go. That's what happened. And that brings us to Cid Missions and how to conquer those, how to beat those. See, I'm trying to make you guys look good.
What is conquer in French?
Conquérir.
What would be? Oh, that's nice.
No.
You should say that.
And how to conquer the ultimates. So Mark, why don't you do us the honor so I don't screw up your writing anymore?
Yeah, that's nice. Did either of you guys do Cid Missions on these?
I tried. I got beat up pretty bad.
Poor synergy. All right, so the interesting thing about Final Fantasy IV, and if you were around 25 years ago, or in any of the last 25 years you've played it, there are a lot of characters in Final Fantasy IV that are playable. And in this version of Final Fantasy Record Keeper, we currently have 13 Final Fantasy IV characters to choose from. So first take stock of your soul breaks and your synergy relics and compose your team. Some notable mentions, Paladin Cecil, besides generally being awesome, can equip Saint's Cross. Kane can use the new Dragoon combo, surprise. Even without his Super Soul Break, he can use the Wyvern, Blood of the Wyvern, and Dragoon Jump. Dark Cecil can use full charge, and he has a new native Boostaga, which is cool. If you have his Soul Break, Edward is the Spoony Bard. He's your really only support, and he has native Hastaga. Rosa is the super versatile White Mage and has a couple of Medicas. And Golbez can use Momentum Mori plus Dark Zone. So that leaves you with a Ninja, poor Edge, a Monk, poor Yang, a straight Black and White Mage in Palom Porum, respectively, the Archmage almost, Telia, or whatever that is, and the old guy, the crazy guy, and the Archmage Supreme, Fusoya, and everyone's favorite Black Mage Summoner, Rydia. Of course, these Cid missions are not real good for mages, so kind of stick to your physical teams, especially since Barbarella there, or Lady Tornado Lady, Lady Tornado. I like that, Lady Tornado. That'd be good, like ladies basketball league. The Lady Tornadoes. Anyway, yeah, they're not real good for her. She casts Reflect or counters your magic attacks, so look for your damage dealers, maybe except for Golbez if you have synergy for the Dark Zone combo. It's a great combo, so think about that. So here was my team, and I saw a number of different teams, but here was my team. Paladin Cecil with DPS of Paladin Force and Saint's Cross. Kane with DPS, Rising Drive, and Dragoon Jump. Dark Knight Cecil with DPS of Full Charge and his Boostaga, 35%, not 50% like Shout. Edward as support with Spooniness and Hastaga, and Rosa Healer with a shared Medica and General Cuteness, which did help her a little bit in the story and also in the battle. So, and I roaming warriored Sentinel Grimoire. So that was my team. There are many different ways to use it. Another good strategy I saw was bring Divine Guardian and Shelga and Magic Breakdown just to nerf Leviathan's magic. So if you're, Divine Guardian, that would be Garnet's Super Soul Break, that increases your resistance. Shelga, of course, that stacks with it, additionally increases your resistance. Then Full Break, Magic Breakdown, break down the magic, raise the resistance, and that can help a lot with Leviathan. So just make sure you bring some extra Shelga to reapply after he dispels you, or Ashura dispels you. So that was my team, but I have a crazy ton of Final Fantasy IV synergy. But I saw a lot of people do it with a lot less. Again, Saint's Cross, if you have R3 Saint's Cross, Banishing Strike, that's going to be good DPS. You have Blood of the Wyvern and Dragoon Jump, both that, maybe R2 or R3. Dragoon Jump at R3 ideally. That's going to do a lot of DPS. Dark Knight Cecil can use full charge, so that's somewhat helpful. And Golbez can use the Dark Zone combo, so that's a lot of DPS too. So bring in your DPS, but obviously if you have any of these soul breaks, that's going to help out a lot.
All right, Ben, you give those a shot, or?
Nope. What? No, I've not given the Ultimate Plus a shot yet.
All right. I'm going to try to do the plus as we record.
For the banner?
Very nice. Very exciting.
The Twitchies will be able to make fun of my horrible... Your valiant attempt. That's correct.
There you go.
That's how we'll name
it. A little more confidence, They only have around like 200,000 HP, so it's not.
Yeah, not. We've gotten a little bit. I think probably a little bit easier ultimates because they're Cid missions. That's going to change. We'll talk about that, I think, towards the end of the show. But I think with your A team, they're certainly doable. The most annoying thing is the 60 stamina Cid missions, which we'll get past that eventually. But with one stamina, play it a few times and try your luck. And if you don't do it, move right along.
Yep.
All right.
Thankfully, it's only major orbs. So
while Pierre is valiantly attempting the Ultimate Plus, we're not going to distract him. So we're just gonna sit in silence. No, but we're gonna cover the second banner for this event, which debuts Edge's Super Soul Break, Inferno, which is pretty good AoE multi-element attack with fire and non-elemental, but I don't know, it's just not very flashy. It's just a pretty standard AoE, even with multi-element, but a pretty decent attack power on the katana. Definitely. Is Edge the only Final Fantasy IV character that can equip katanas? I think so.
I believe so, yes.
Pierre, don't
Yeah, I don't
answer.
know.
You're supposed to be focusing.
I don't know
think I
without
focus
looking
on anything
directly.
since Kindergarten.
But yeah, I don't think, because Paladin Cecil equips axes,
And
hammers,
yeah, not katana.
swords, daggers,
So anyway,
cane, sword, spear. Yeah, I don't think anybody else
we
gets
gotta
katana.
check on that. But moving on, Rydia's Mystic Whip is old with Odin. Then we have Dark Knight Cecil's Deathbringer, which gives him the Super Soul Break Shadowbringer. Deals 6 physical attacks to one target and deal moderate damage to the user based on his max HP. So it's a pretty good combo with other darkness abilities that rely on you having low HP. But and also just innately has a small chance to instantly KO a target, so that's pretty nice. But not much of a team player, that Dark Knight Cecil.
Yeah, unless you have his regular Soul Break, which is arguably better and gives you Boost Aga. So, did we already have that though? That's not
That
new,
was in
is
the
it?
first banner, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, we have Yang's Claws, the Fairy
Oh,
Claws. They have a small chance to confuse on hit. That's nice. And the Soul Break is Sylph's Providence. Deal 3 ranged physical attacks to all targets and enable each ally to avoid 1 physical attack. So it's an AoE plus blink.
That's
I
the
don't know,
item I got, by the way.
Yeah, it's physical blink, which is kind of nice. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of things that are physical blink, so
Yeah. But I don't know.
That's
Not
good.
very.
I guess
I wouldn't write home about it. It's nice. But
I wouldn't pull for it. That's
yeah, and I believe Rosa's white dress is old, correct? Or is that
yeah.
new?
We've had the dress, or no? We had Renoa's dress. Did we have Rosa? Yeah, Rosa. Yeah, I think we've had her dress before. Her new item was the bow this time.
Yes. So this banner only has 3 new weapons. I would not recommend pulling on this banner. The first banner for this event outclasses it entirely.
Oh
With
yeah,
the Burst Soul Break
with
and
everything.
yeah. I guess if you're a big fan of Rydia, go for that whip. Odin is not a bad Super Soul Break. But besides that, when the featured character Edge is on the banner is a ninja, you know it's not going to be that good of a banner.
Oops, I lost my healer.
You kind of know what you're in for
And with
when
that in mind-
Edge is on the.
Yeah, and with that in mind, I'm going to pull on the first banner. On this banner, I have already gotten Edward's Harp and another Katetsu, which I got far too many of in the second banner of the Soul Breakout. So let's hope we get something good with 5 Mithril, because I'm still trying to stay at 25. It's a 3-star. Keep the show going. Just shut it down. Keep going.
Alright, Ashura's down. I only got Leviathan left, and I don't have a healer anymore, so...
Just do it.
I am fighting I am fighting Elite Behemoth King in our new Realm Dungeons, and once I defeat him, I will do a 3-pull, I believe, on Rydia 1. But I have to take him down first.
Sounds
and
good.
I believe
And,
Paladin Cecil is going to be doing that right now. Oh,
And,
bring in the
sounds
holy.
good. While you guys are finishing off your fights, hopefully, I'm gonna just do the roundup of dungeon update number 23.
But who's keeping count?
Apparently, whoever wrote this amazing outline is, or it's probably archived somewhere.
Yeah.
So, 16 mithril. You can now max out your stamina to 166. With
And
only
four shards.
one more shard left to go to make that 167. You can get the memory crystal 1 and 2. Well, no, 1 for the thief and 2 for the ranger,
Yes.
and 2 for the thief. Why is that? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, memory crystal 1 for the thief. Memory
And
crystal
record
2.
materia 1 ranger core class. Mark, what is this? How did you organize this? Okay.
So
okay.
you can get the thief's memory crystal 1 and the ranger's memory crystal 2.
Okay.
There are 2 now record material for the thief core class,
Okay.
which are the regain thief abilities. The first one is 50% chance to regain after or at the beginning of a dungeon. The second one is a 100%. And the record materia for the Ranger core class, which I believe is his record materia 2 or 3, excuse me, is auto haste, and your attack becomes aim, which is 1.1 times damage with 100% hit chance.
That's pretty nice when
very nice. Yeah.
Daily dungeons, you don't have to worry.
Yeah, very nice.
Thing. Haste is
Very
nice because yeah. So that's like a strict upgrade because we have auto haste record materials. So
we have a couple auto haste. Yeah.
If you're in the business of getting, if you like using haste record materials,
and they're down.
Want to get this one for the strict upgrade. Let's see, in terms of dungeons, we've got some Final Fantasy 14, some 13, and 5.
Yep.
That you can work through.
4 from Final Fantasy 14, or 4 regular, 4 elite, so 8 total. 2 from Final Fantasy 13, which bring you the Cactar and King Behemoth from the Great Grand Pulse part of that game. And then 2 or 4 total, 2 regular, 2 elite from Final Fantasy V, and those are the Odin and Bahamut battles. So I have not completed those yet, but those are...
Holy crap, guys, I just got Edward's harp.
Okay.
Woohoo! Oh, yeah, let me do my... I guess you just pulled, so...
let
me do my 3 pull.
So I didn't call it beforehand.
That's
let me
okay.
do my 3 on the screen here.
We don't need to
I'm also
dramatize
pulling on Rydia 1. I don't really need to pull on Rydia 1, but why not? I got, 3 stars. Oh, yes! Yes! Unicorn shield!
Suck it.
I literally said to somebody, I hope I get unicorn shield tonight when I pull on this.
Wow.
And I did.
Nice.
I love unicorn shield. No.
Okay. Enough of that. Enough disappointment. Let's move on to bigger and better things.
Alright, so I guess I'm going to give Edward some eggs, because he now's... Oh, wait, I don't have any. Oh, well. Alright, so that's enough for now. But I almost got the U+ with my full synergy team, so I'll definitely give that a shot later on. I think I can win it.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
I will say this about the new dungeons. Make sure that you read the descriptions and the mastery conditions before you go in them. Especially the King Behemoth. I just did the regular and ultimate for those who are watching online. And one of the conditions is don't use lightning attacks against him. And normally, when you get don't use lightning attacks, it's because they're weak to lightning. But he was, in fact, absorbing lightning, and so it told you don't use lightning, and hey, we'll give you some extra medals if you read. So it's like one of those tests in grade school where, at the top of the test, the teacher handed out the test, and at the top of the test, it said, read all of the questions before you take this test. And like the last question was, ignore all the other questions, write your name at the top of the paper and hand it in. And so like 3/4 of the class just doesn't, they just start going through, and writing, all the answers. And everybody's looking at that one kid that like got up and handed it in right away and like sitting there, I don't know if they still do that because that might be considered cruel. But I had to do that. And I would do it to other people because I think it's funny. But yeah, so it's kind of like that. So make sure that you read carefully all of the dungeon information.
Or things
at least
might
as
happen.
it's presented in the game. Or you might suck. Now, on the other hand, it really doesn't matter because I continued to master all of those without much of a problem. But, I was also using my A-team, so... Go A-team. Look at they're jumping for joy. Go A-team. Hooray.
All right. That brings us to an event that has not been released yet. It's Reigns
But announced. But announced.
But
It was
announced.
Just announced.
Yep, just announced as we started the show. Reigns of Ruins that is going to give us the Memory Crystal 1 and 2 for the following characters. That's Cypher, Squall, Rhinoa, Laguna, Quistis, and Irvine. You'll also get the usual Soul of a Hero and MC1 and 2 loads. The following record spheres will be unlocked. That's Cypher, Squall, and Rhinoa. And that brings us to the plus, and plus battles. Guys, you guys, woo. Okay, let's try it again. Guys, you want to go ahead with the bonus battles?
I mean, to the best of our ability.
Obviously.
Because they're not even released yet.
They are not released
raw
yet.
data and not experience. We're not, we're not that good. Sorry, folks.
But this is what we have from what has happened in the past.
Yes.
Some good battles, though. So the first one is Secrets of the Central Ruins. And if you remember in Final Fantasy VIII, as you're going on to that mysterious ruins, and you can fight the Tonberry King. That little cute green guy with the stabby. Yep, that guy. He is somebody had a plushie of him once. Adorable. He is adorable. Anyway, all of his attacks are physical, and he ignores Draw Fire plus Retaliate, that combo. But if you full break, power breakdown, and Protectia, you are likely to win without much of an issue. I would kill him before the stabby happens too, or you might be in for trouble. And then in that battle, that is of course the 2-boss battle. You have to fight Odin, and again, Odin is all physical. And on his 10th turn, he unleashes Zantetsuken, the ultimate attack. So do it before.
Will that be like an instant KO?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is an instant KO or not, but it seems like it's bad. So
that's like
I would avoid.
That was the dungeon in 8 where you ran through it and there was a timer, and if it hit 0, you just got a random encounter with Odin, and he just slices you in half, and it's instant game over.
Yep, that's right. That's the same with Tonberry King. That's in the Central Ruins with the timer. Yep.
Funny.
Yep. Very, very fun. So
if
I played that
only
not
you
too
would
long ago.
slice the sprites in half. That'd be the most brutal thing ever.
Fall to pieces.
You've got to unlock them again in the Hall of Heroes. It just got sliced in half.
Then in the second bonus battle, you have to go to the magical dungeon called Cerberus. And who do you think you fight in Cerberus?
Dude, you fight the first boss of Devil May Cry 3. He's got ice, he makes icicles fall from the ceiling. What a great fight,
That was a good fight. No, yes, you fight the 3-headed dog Cerberus. The guardian, he's a guardian force, isn't he? In Final Fantasy VIII. So he uses mostly magical attacks, and of course he casts the special triple ability, so you want to be dispelling him quickly. He ignores wind damage, absorbs lightning damage, so watch your elemental attacks before you bring them in. I love the dungeon is called, that might be a mistake. The dungeon is called Cerberus, and you are fighting Cerberus. Although maybe not, because I think
yeah.
the Diablo dungeon was called Diablo, because that's kind of, that was like an item that unlocked Diablo. But I think you actually have to go somewhere to fight Cerberus in Final Fantasy VIII. Think about that. And that brings us to the final bonus battle, the +++, Vision to Sleep in Stagnation. A lot more creative with that one. And of course, if you remember the Vision to Sleep in Stagnation, you have to fight Ultima Weapon. Uses both physical and magical attacks, although the more dangerous attacks are magic-based, if you want to bring that mitigation higher than physical. He hits hard, so bring lots of mitigations. He has no weaknesses, and if you take too many turns, he uses Light Pillar, which deals 9,999 damage to one of your characters, or kills them instantly. Yeah, so kill him quick.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Should we review this banner even though it's not out?
Oh, no, we can probably review the banner next week, right? Or do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no, urgency to pull on it since there will still be plenty of time next week.
Yeah. I think the general advice is don't.
Yeah, I was going to say, just to maybe some people might have a hard time holding on to their mithril. Is there a general consensus on the first banner?
Don't draw on the Final Fantasy VIII event is the general consensus. Unless you really, really want a whole bunch of both banners. This is for both banners. Unless you really want a whole bunch of ice elements to beat the Ifrit Moat dungeon. Just pass on this one. So on both of them. Neither of them are very exciting. But we'll talk about them and tell you why they're not very exciting later. Pull on Rudia 1. That's our advice.
Pull while you can.
Pull while you can. We are getting, in this event, not only ultimate battles, which we'll talk about next week, but we are getting a moat dungeon, and that comes out after the ultimate battles, I believe, and right before the next nightmare dungeon, the support nightmare dungeon, which is next week sometime. So we'll have a lot to talk about next week. But so be ready for your first moat dungeon. And this, of course, in Japan was considered to be the most difficult moat dungeon, Moat Ifrit, or Fragment Ifrit in Japan. And this is where you get 4-star moats. So good luck.
4-star moats. I need those.
Yeah. So it's supposed to be super hard. So great.
Wait, it's going to be tied to the event?
It comes out after the ultimate battles, a couple days after the ultimate battles. It is a Final Fantasy VIII dungeon.
Okay, but when the event goes away, does it go away as well?
I don't believe so. I don't know how. I do not know how the moat dungeons work.
Okay.
Have you seen any in Japan while you've been playing?
No, quite frankly, but there again, I would need to understand what the heck I'm looking at. So.
Yeah, right. So I don't know if these are on a separate screen, if these are tied to the event. I mean, it's obviously a Final Fantasy VIII dungeon with Final Fantasy VIII events, so I don't know where they show up, but I know they should be showing up next week with this event. And that's where you get 4-star moats.
Oh my god, so. My double cast white magic Recurrent Materia just procced at the perfect time.
That's nice when that happens.
I want to get that U+. I know I can do it now.
Yeah. So I have about 5 days after the Final Fantasy VIII event starts, and right before the Nightmare Dungeon is when we expect the Moat Dungeon, but we won't really know till we get it. So keep your eyes open this week, and next week we'll probably talk about it if it's.
So before we stop talking about the Final Fantasy VIII event, we do have to mention that there will be some record spheres unlocked. Yes. For 3 characters. We'll get Squall, Renoa, and Cypher's record spheres. And I'm just going to read off what their tier 2 rewards are. In Squall's spheres, if you go down the Paladin line, you can get plus 6% night damage, which I don't think Squall's a pretty like used Knight. So I guess can he even use like 5-star?
Squall?
Yeah.
Squall doesn't have Knight at all.
What?
Yeah, no.
This must be incorrect then.
No,
Yeah.
it gives him 3-star Knight abilities, right?
Here, this is the page I'm looking at. You guys can.
Squall has
Oh.
2-star
Squall.
Black Magic, 3-star
Maybe
Celerity.
these are reversed.
What?
No, he gains the ability to get Knight abilities with his record sphere.
Okay. Huh?
Well, just like Cloud.
No, yeah, I understand the concept, but like, the page I'm looking at is probably like wrong then.
I don't know. Why don't you take a look at an
Either
actually
the Squall or
correct
Master. All right, I'm just gonna
website?
read some. I'm just gonna read. Oh wait, what? It's already out on FFRK Central.
Well, his normal ones.
Well, I'm looking at his record spheres. I know he can't use Knight. I'm just gonna read off. Listen, I'm just gonna read off the other character.
All right, that works.
The one character who I know is right. Okay, so Renoa's record spheres. If you by going down Black Mage, she could get plus 3% Black Magic damage. By unlock her tier 2 Summoner sphere, you can get plus 6% summon damage. And if you go down the Time Mage line, you can equip stabs on Renoa. I'm getting mixed up with my sources, so before I mess up saying what Cypher or Squall's record spheres are, I'm definitely going to review them next week. But
We can look at them live next week. Yes, hopefully we'll have them out. So yeah. But you have been upgrading some characters with your record spheres in their record spheres with your motes.
And I'm not going to miss the opportunity to get some 4-star motes.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
All right.
So that brings us to some other things.
I believe so. I think that brings us to the roundtable discussion of the week. And let me pause that combat. And this week we'll go with what are you honing? What abilities have you honed? And what are you working on? What would you like to have put desperately need for... Okay, let's try that again. What would you like to have put desperately needed for another... Wait, how's that sentence?
No, that's just... The sentence is just...
What are you working for? What would you like to have put desperately need another Orb Fest for? I get the gist of it, okay? I can decipher this.
But
it's like,
not
what
what.
orbs
Yes.
are you wishing you want
that
more?
That P should be a B.
Okay.
So yes, we did not get an Orb Fest, which everyone's losing their crazy pants over on the Reddit and some other
Reddit's
places.
on fire.
But guess what? Like the end of the world is happening. Seriously, guys, calm down. Anyway, it's just an Orb Fest, and we'll talk about some other things here too. But yeah, no, we're kind of in an era of 5-star abilities. And we've talked about a few times, and I've talked about, I think I'm going to talk about on basics again before I finish that up. You can get a long way with some of these combos. The Dragoon combo is really nice. Power Chain Full Charge is really nice. Memento Mori Dark Zone is really nice. Saints Cross is amazing. Some of these, Full Break, obviously you need. But, so you can get a long way with 5-star abilities. So I was just kind of interested to see where are you on the 5-star ability list. I'll bring mine up here to view to see where mine are.
Let's see.
But yeah, like what have you done? What are you working on? What would you like to work on? And I've not broken down any. I know some people break them down. But looking at mine, I have Meteor. R1 Arise we got for free. I have R2 Bahamut, R1 Tornado Strike. I have R3 Full Charge, R2 Full Break, R3 Power Chain, the free Sky Grinder, R3 Dragoon Jump, R2 Thief's Revenge, R3 Saints Cross, the Flashing Blade free, the Doppelganger free, R2 Multi-Break, the free Bio Grenade, the Free Sanguine Cross, and the R3 Dark Zone. So I have my Dark Zone, my Dragoon Jump, my Saint's Cross, my Full Charge, and my Power Chain all at R3. I have my brakes both at R2. The one thing I'd like to spend some time honing is Thief's Revenge. I think there's going to be some Cid Missions where I have some good thieves like Locke and Yuffie, where I'd really like them to do, Power Chain Thief's Revenge or some other thing, Thief's Revenge, Steel Power if I have to. Power Chain Thief's Revenge is pretty good, though, if you have that on certain characters. So I'd like to do that, although I saw a pretty good article, and I think I linked it maybe on the Slack chat. Maybe we can link it to on the page when we put this out. A really good article just about generally these 5-star abilities. And the Sanguine Cross combo, Dark Bargain Sanguine Cross, that actually can do some pretty good damage on your Darkness physical characters. So I know a lot of people kind of put this down as not nearly as powerful, but looking at the numbers, it seemed like, it's not ideal, it's not the best, but still, kind of good. So maybe not worth throwing out quite yet. So what about you guys? What are you working on?
Let's see.
I've kind of, 5-star abilities like Saint's Cross are really good. And I don't know, I'm a fan, me, I'm a fan of quirky strategies. But as of lately, I've been really sticking to burst soul breaks. So other abilities, I haven't been really that on top of. I guess one thing, they're really not. I've been honing up my 4-star Spellblades really high. But besides that, I'm really not working in the ability department that dedicated. I guess Power Chain, Full Charge, I'm working to build.
All right. On my side, I have, along with the stuff they give you away, I honed Dragoon Jump to R2. I've got Saint's Cross that's at R4 mainly because I don't have any major Holy Orbs. If I look at it this way, let me check real quick. See, I'm all out of Holy Orbs. Holy Orbs. I would need 33. I only have. I need 33 more. I only have 7, so that's a shame. Other than that, I don't have any really good 5-star abilities. Full Charge, Power Chain, they're both still at R1. I'd like to hone them eventually, but again, they share a lot of the same orbs in terms of, actually they only share power, but still power and wind. So I only have
power
24.
and wind.
Yep. I
I
only have
a lot of power and wind.
24 major powers, so I could only hone one of them. Other than that, I haven't really honed anything lately. I'm pretty happy with what I have. I have most 4-star Spellblade at R3. I've got Runga at R3 as well. So really, I'm just piling up the orbs to be able to eventually get those 5-star abilities much higher.
Now, do you guys do a lot of orb exchanges? I've seen some people on our Slack chat talking about they don't have any gil, and one of the big things that takes gil is orb exchange. So,
yeah, I've been kind
that
of short
something
on
you
gil. I've been I obviously make use of it. There's no need to keep these 3-star orbs around any longer. But I've been so short on gil late with all the equipment I've had to upgrade. That I'm not making as much use of it as I'd like.
I used to not. At first, when they released this, I didn't notice how much money it actually cost to do it. So I used to transfer all of the orbs I had to higher orbs, and then one time when I tried to do it, it said you don't have enough money, and that's where I've been ever since. So I burned through my entire pile of gills doing that mindlessly, and yeah, I'm still playing catch up. So right now I only exchange when I'm trying to hone something desperately. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I did some exchanges to get full charge up to R3 recently. So, and I don't think you have to go above R3 for most of these. I think you're just kind of wasting orbs. And so they've been talking on the Twitch chat. I'm not looking at it all the time, but I did pop in there and see that we are going to be introduced to all of the chain spells, all the chain agas, fire, ice, wind, etc. So AoE, multi-hit. I don't know if they're AoE. Yeah, they are AoE, aren't they? But multi-hit black magic abilities. Very cool black magic and black magic abilities, and very good for mage teams if you really want to do a mage team. But so hold on to your major black orbs because you're going to need them quite a bit. So
yeah, well, right now both white and black magic are kind of hurting. So hopefully, if they do release some more stuff, it'll definitely be good. Because right now you don't have anything awesome beyond, the normal fire, ice, one character. I just think that
flare and meteor, but all these chain spells are going to be a lot better than flare and meteor. So, yep.
Yeah, I think
if you want black mages, there you go. Something to look forward to.
All right.
Very good.
Thank you, Twitch. And then that brings us to Mailbag. We've got 2 emails this week. Well, actually, we should call this like contact bag or anything. But yeah, Dan from Slack writes, what is the deal with the rising gap between events? All the and Mark then adds in, all the subreddit is doing is whining out about this 8 days between events. Are there too few events? Is Dennis lacking? Is the game dead? Maybe we should all take the extra time to breathe fresh air and play Pokemon Go. Actually, me and Mark had a little discussion about this as well, because there was some kind of general thinking that all the events were coming out on the same day. Always, but they always change things around. I think what's hurting in global is the fact that all the cool what's the term again? All the cool collaboration events that they have in the Japanese version, we skip those. So I think they explain why we're skipping a beat right now, and they're putting in an extra day or two. But there's so many people ripping their shirts over the whole 8-day delay for the next event that I think it's really taken way too far for what it is. But maybe that's just me.
Don't you think part of the problem is, though, so we talked about Final Fantasy IV came out in Japan 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Maybe I did. I get Nintendo Power. I got Nintendo Power right when I was little, but that wasn't like a thing that I knew. Like, there were people in Japan playing this really cool video game, and I didn't have it, and that really made me angry. Yeah, no, I was, 10, 12, I don't know how old I was, or 25 years ago, I know how old I was. So I was 10, and, I didn't know. And so there was nothing for me to be angry about. The problem we have now, we live in this global world, but the Japan game is still going, and it's going ahead of us 6 months. And so you have a Japan version of a game and a global version of a game, but we're not separated by, an ocean anymore. We can communicate with each other. We got people from Japan, talking to us on Slack chat, right? And on Reddit, and we can download the Japanese version of the game, and many people are playing it. So I think the problem is they got Overdrive soul breaks or Overflow soul breaks, and they have, these events and this event and multiplayer. So they have things that we don't have yet. And so we're kind of looking over the fence like, well, when do we get this special ball? When do we get to play in the sprinkler? I mean, pick your analogy. And so I think a lot of the problem is just kind of, if people aren't enjoying the game that they have, they're looking to the game that somebody else has.
Ooh, good call.
And just go download the Japanese version then.
Well, personally, I understand that when they launched Final Fantasy Record Keeper, I don't know if they had announced on, day one that it would be a global version. one thing I know is that they have other Japanese Final Fantasy games that they never release globally, like FFBE or something like that. I don't remember the name, but I understand that there was some time apart from the release, but it's been over a year now. They should definitely have caught up with it. There's no real reason. It's certainly not the fact that it's taking so long to translate, because quite frankly, with the money that it's pouring in, they already have the teams to do it. So I still don't understand why we don't have all the collaboration events. I mean, obviously maybe there's some kind of special stuff with Japanese only company, but my favorite example is the Secret of Mana collaboration event that we didn't have for no good reason, and stuff like that. So and there's some talk a lot on the Reddit that Dena doesn't have any real transparency when it comes to how they're handling this whole thing, and I think that it's also lacking. There's no community manager that keeps the player posted. There's nobody doing the job of explaining these things, and even if you try and get a hold of them, for example, I've been trying to get a hold of Dina for about 2 weeks now to try and get someone on the show. No reply, nothing. It's really hard to get anything out of them. So it doesn't really make sense.
They don't seem to have, although, like I said, I feel good about the kind of decisions they make and everything else, but they don't seem to have anybody with, like, boots on the floor, boots on the ground, like here.
Yeah, a community manager, basically.
Right, exactly, and that would be great, but is there that? But like their Twitter account, so we're friends with their Twitter account, or we follow their Twitter account.
Dude, their Twitter account is literally... Oh, sorry.
They never ever talk about anything about their own games, like even like promoting their own games.
Reddit.
Yeah.
What was that, Ben?
Their Twitter account's literally just like our gaming. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sending them anything on there, it's not like they're gonna reply to you or so.
No, because we tag them all the time.
Actually, I was surprised when they replied to me this morning regarding the article, because I wrote about Yang's record materia. As I said in the article, I emailed them for comments/feedback about it, and they replied 2 days after. I replied to them and said, hey, please keep me posted with the result of your investigation. And to my surprise, they replied the next day and say, hey, we will respond to you as soon as we receive an update from the development team. So maybe the way it's handled globally, even them probably are a whole different ecosystem that still rely on the Japanese side, and they might not have a very strong idea of what's going on here, and they might be going after the information as much as we are. So maybe there's
so Dina, if you're listening, there are 3 gentlemen here on the show tonight who would be happy for a small fee to help manage your community relations.
I mean, yes, I would do. What a job. That'd be awesome.
And I will, once again, I'll say this
because we literally already do that for free.
I have customer service experience, Dina. If you're listening, I have to tell people every day, I'm sorry.
I quite frankly, I do support for FFRK on Facebook and Twitter all the time.
Yeah,
we
right?
do it on Twitch, but seriously, this is episode number 21. My site, FFRK Central, will be 1 year old sometime in August, and I've been trying to get someone from Dena with us, either for episode number 25, which is going to be your 6-month anniversary, or for episode number something else to match the FFRK Central 1 year anniversary. So I'm still going to email them tonight and try to get someone with us to answer any questions or anything. So if that works out, we'll keep you posted, but hopefully we'll be able to get someone who can speak on behalf of Dana.
So
and Square.
everyone who's listening, send a support ticket to Dana and say,
Talk to the
please
FFRK
reply
Central
to
guys.
Pierre.
Please understand.
Please let your community know that you care about them.
And whatever you do, please do it in a polite fashion. Cussing, being impolite, being rude does not get anybody anywhere. So,
yes. Dear Dina, if you would, please consider...
if it's not too much of an issue.
If it's not too much of an issue. And you're not doing anything else. Perhaps.
If you would so kindly mind. Alright. Moving on. So,
awesome.
We've got another email from Derek. He says, what is your impressions of Cid Missions after 3 events?
Hey, what if, I'm just throwing this out here, what if Australian Derek is the community manager for FFRK Global, and he just keeps sending us things? So what do you guys think about Cid Missions?
He played us like a damn fiddle.
Your jig is up.
I can see the guy in his office. Hey guys, they totally give me a nickname.
We got him again, folks.
Oh boy.
Alright.
So what do you guys think of Cid Missions after 3 events?
They're fun. They're definitely for veteran players who have built up a large repertoire of items and have decent synergy in each realm. Though they're definitely not impossible if people want to just dump a bunch of growth eggs into certain characters from a realm they've never used. Just fill them up with gear. There's definitely been a dip in difficulty for the Ultimate and Ultimate Plus battles to accommodate for the Cid Missions, which I think is fine, as it poses a new challenge, which is kind of using teams that you're not normally familiar with.
Yeah, I like them a lot now, even talking about synergy. So we've had a Final Fantasy X synergy team mission with a couple fun kind of extra solo mission, 3-party mission. Final Fantasy VII Cid Missions, Final Fantasy IV, Cid Missions, and now we're getting Final Fantasy VIII Cid Missions. Well, thankfully for me, my synergy in each of those realms, Final Fantasy X, 7, 4, and 8, is great. Excellent. I have wonderful synergy. But yeah, it will be interesting once we get to like Final Fantasy V, where I have no synergy. Final Fantasy 12, rougher synergy. 9, I think coming up, rougher synergy. So right now, my opinion is I love them, but I have really good teams for each of these 4 Cid Missions that we've had so far. But I may change my tune when we get to Final Fantasy V and I just start throwing stuff all around because I, have no relics for Final Fantasy V.
Personally, I think I don't have, like, for Final Fantasy VII, I didn't have strong enough characters. For Final Fantasy IV, I might actually be able to beat it, maybe, but it just gets to the point where I look at the rewards for these and I'm like, just not really worth the effort to go on at this for a couple hours just to get the right party. So maybe I just need to be a tad stronger than I am right now. So hopefully, if they do when we get a Final Fantasy V Cid mission, I got good synergy for that, and maybe by that time I'll be much stronger. I'm looking forward to the next round of Nightmare Dungeons to finally get the ones I haven't gotten out and beat with, and then I'll be looking forward to Cid Missions. So I guess that's where I'm at now. I'm really looking toward the Nightmare Dungeons with total confidence, and then we'll see to get the Cid Missions out of the way. Ben?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I am looking forward to Nightmare Dungeons as well.
All right. Then how should we title the next section?
Good question.
Because we've got
after my rant about not looking into the future, let's look into the future.
For what it's worth, you wrote the outline. You should have seen that coming.
I should have. So after all that talk about not looking over the fence and seeing what the other kids are playing, let's see what the other kids are playing with.
On the other side of the fence.
It's amazing.
We've got really cool Final Fantasy Record Keeper players in Slack chat. Again, if you haven't joined that community, you should strongly consider it. Just go to ffrkcentral.com/FFRK chat. There's people around usually 24/7. There's a global and a Japanese channel on there, so don't hesitate. Good folks on there. So we've got people playing the Japanese version, and let's see real quick. We've got Australian Derek, or if you prefer, the anonymous undercover Dana community manager, sent us the Japanese week in review. So basically, I don't know if Mark, you want to go over them?
Well, yeah, I don't play the Japanese game, but I can I can tell you what's going on in Japan. News from Japan. So they just had a Final Fantasy VII event, which is based on Crisis Core, that game for the PlayStation. What's that thing called? The mobile.
Yeah, that's PSP.
The portable PSP. There you go. The
PSP. Played Zach.
Yes, and you got Angiel. He is a new character he's the redheaded guy. The redheaded stepchild of Final Fantasy. He is Combat 5, Night 5.
Good, dude, shut up.
No, he's just had his red hair. Combat 5, Night 5. Don't send your red hair hate mail at me. I've got somewhat red hair, and my wife's red haired, so it's fine. I love people with red hair, obviously. Combat 5, Night 5, Spellblade 3. And he is the first Knight 5 in Final Fantasy VII, according to Australian Derek. If that's wrong, then send your hate mail to him. 2 new darkness abilities, Life and Death and Scythe of Death. Operates as physical Memento Mori darkness counterparts. So cool. Change to multiple element attacks. Will now also consider bonuses from plus elemental equipment. Plus elemental record material, record dive, and attach element. What that means, if I'm reading it correctly, is currently in global, if you have an elemental attack like Squall's BSB, it does fire, and you have your fire red armlet from Final Fantasy XII equipped, it does not boost your damage, but that will be fixed 6 months from now. So look over the fence and lament. As that will be fixed when it is fixed. Multiplayer beta has ended, and so the morning time until it is revealed consistently will ensue. They still get double Geisal, double Geisal green event. They still get those in Japan, and they have one going on now. And they apparently get free mithril eggs and upgrade material like it's Bastille Day. They just throw it out of windows, and record keepers just roll around it and in the streets because it's Japan and the grass is greener and the trees are taller and it's wonderful, and we should all be real sad that we're not playing the Japanese version of the game. Sorry.
All right.
I'm better now.
Did you get it all out of your system?
I think so.
That was scary. So that is what's happening on the other side of the fence. I'm sorry, folks, that was not planned or choreographed, so we're all a little bit scared of what just happened.
Who wants to talk about elemental teams?
Yeah.
because that's something also that's happening in Japan, and that is kind of happening with us, and starting to happen with us here in Global. The Elemental Synergy team, or the the Element Focus team, I guess.
Sure,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. So we already have N element powers, like Paladin Cecil's Burst Soul Break grants him N Holy, increases his holy damage, etc. Right? Titus has N Water, increases his water. There are a couple, like Barrett has N Lightning. I think Renoa has her N Earth, all that kind of stuff. And then we have, about one, I think maybe we have two, Imperil elements. So Belthier has an Imperil fire weapon, right? Super Soul Break. So these things become more and more common from this point on in Global. You're going to see more elemental gear and more N elemental gear, empowering elements, and you're going to see a lot more Imperil elements. And there's a guy on Reddit called Sandslice who has been doing a series of basically doing a team, kind of a really A team for each element. And it's really cool to see the number of elemental options that are available in Japan already, because we're going to have all kinds of things. For example, with Holy, we have Paladin Cecil, we have, Diaga, Diara. We have Holy, the ability. We have Saint's Cross. We have Banishing Blade. We have all kinds of holy. We have some magical holy attacks. Like not Hymn of the Faith. Whatever, Descending. Yuna's Soul Break, Descending. So there's some Soul Breaks that are holy damage, but you're going to start seeing Imperil Holy. So Beatrix's Burst Soul Break, General Leo, his Burst Soul Break or Super Soul Break, those are Imperil Holy. So the idea behind these elemental teams is you have somebody who imperils the enemy with an element, and then the rest of your team kind of dogpiles the elements on them, and maybe even uses empowering elements to make their attacks even stronger. So I really like. I think it's really cool.
I think it's super overdue, because when they introduced that mechanic, I was really hoping to get even abilities, not only soul breaks, but even abilities that would allow you to do that. And then you had, what's his face, the Final Fantasy XII guy.
Balthier.
Yeah, Balthier. Then you have a couple more, and then nothing.
Right.
And I was really hoping to get more of that mechanic out, so I'm really glad if you say it's on the way back for Global. It's really going to add, because because right now, if you look at most of the bosses, they don't have any. They're all, I guess you could say, weak to Imperial. They don't have any resistance to that, but unfortunately, there's not many soul breaks that allows you to do it. So it could really change how people get to play this, because when you look at certain YouTube videos, even just the soul break that Baltier has, it gets so much of a kick more in terms of attack that it's really exciting to think that you'll be getting more of that.
Yeah, and you can already, if you have Belthier's Super Soul Break, you can already do a pretty good fire team.
Yep.
And if you really love ice as an element, these next two Final Fantasy VIII banners have all the ice stuff. Empower Ice, Imperil Ice, I think, is on this banner, like 3 or 4 soul breaks that do ice damage. Yeah, but
again, that's that whole thing still relies on luck.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping at some point, and I know it's not coming shortly, but I'm hoping at some point there'll be abilities, even if they're 5-star and cost a whole lot of materials to home, that they'll bring some of those characteristics in terms of abilities that we'll be able to use more.
Well, that's interesting, because now we have 5-star abilities which are kind of comparative to Super Soul Breaks, right? Or close to Super Soul Break level. Full Charge, the Dragoon Jump, Dark Zone. they're getting up to that kind of level of super soul break. Definitely better than regular soul breaks. Do you think that, Imperil, do you think Imperil is going to be something we're going to see in an ability? And maybe on a similar vein, what about AoE healing or Medicas? Do you think we'll ever get a 5-star Medica ability, like a AoE healing ability, even if it's a small percent? Even if it's like the shared soul breaks.
Well, just the fact that eventually we'll be able to do re-raise or even the Q-raise itself ability lets me hope that we'll have something like that. But I don't understand how their thinking works at time in terms of ability. But I really hope that they'll give us Imperial abilities in short term and not only rely on are you lucky enough to win one of the equipment during the 8-10 days that they're available to do that. Because even if even if right now I'd want to spend 10 grand to get Baltier's soul break, super soul break, I can't. There's no way to do it. So if if you want to use that kind of mechanic, you're pretty much out of luck.
But I will say this, and I've had a lot of discussions and read a lot of discussions and been in a lot of discussions, even with Sandslice, and nice enough to have a chat with him on Reddit. It's not necessarily necessary to actually use these combos. Now, they're fun, you can do it, but I mean, if you have Paladin Cecil's Paladin Force, you don't need a lot of help with him. Paladin Cecil by himself in Saints Cross is doing crazy damage with Excalibur. If you have Platinum Shield on top of that, he's doing a lot of crazy damage. He doesn't really need anybody imperiling Holy. So if you got somebody imperiling Holy, it's just called you win. There's no challenge. You win. That's the end of the game. And you can put the game down and you can go, do whatever you want with your life. So they are kind of they're like really high-end luxury combos, not necessary to beat the content. And I don't want people thinking, oh, well, geez, I'm going to have to get one of these to beat the content. That's not been the case so far in Japan, at least. Certainly not the case in global. And moving forward, just so people are kind of aware of what's happening, we're still going to have Cid Missions. We're still going to have Ultimate Plus. The Cid Missions are only going to be on the Ultimate Plus, the one stamina battle. And eventually we're going to have Ultimate plus battles, which you're going to use your A team. So people are like, well, how am I going to use my A team now? Well, there's going to be Ultimate plus battles where you're going to need your A team. And of course, if you have these elemental combos, it's going to even be better. And then, of course, we have more nightmare dungeons. We have these moat dungeons, which are coming up. So there's going to be a lot of different challenges. But the nice thing is, you're going to be able to do the ultimate battles and maybe even the Ultimate plus, without much. Did I say plus? I meant I said plus. I meant plus. So I don't think you necessarily. I think it's more of a luxury, and I think it's really cool if you watch people using these combos. It's really cool to see the kind of crazy damage you can do, especially with the overflow. Oh, geez, the overflow is crazy. If you have a combo with the overflow soul breaks, which can do more than 9,999 damage, but again, it's kind of a luxury and it's kind of a pay-for thing. But it would be really cool, I think, if they bring that Imperil into, or even the N in power, bringing that into a 5-star ability. So,
well, personally, these mechanics, Imperil and Empower, are so much more, how could I say, exciting to me to think about using than the whole record sphere system that they introduced. So I would ditch the entire record sphere. And again, it's brand new. I could be totally wrong. Maybe it's super great and it'll evolve nicely. But I would ditch the entire record sphere system to get an Imperil and Empower ability, even if it's 5-star and super expensive, to get that for certain elements. So again, we'll see, I guess. Maybe questions for dinner whenever we get someone on the show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. We're gonna get Stonewall so much.
They are never coming on this show.
They are.
They hate us.
Even if I have to run after them with a recorder on the street and get arrested for looking very high.
Where's their corporate office?
Somewhere in Japan. And I think they have one in, was it Vancouver?
Well, hey, drive over there.
Yeah, it's only like
Get it done.
a couple hours. Yeah, Dana Studio Canada, they have one in there in Vancouver. We'll see. Maybe there's a way to...
Vancouver's beautiful this time of year, I hear.
I don't know. My employer and my family may not laugh much when I say, you know what, I do some stuff for a mobile game, and I'm just going to run after the company that creates it because it doesn't pay me.
I'm going to go to Vancouver for a few weeks.
Oh, boy.
And they're like, yeah, we don't even do Final Fantasy Record Keeper in Vancouver. Oh, man.
Yeah,
that's like a Muppet movie. I mean, that's like an adventure. Like, you got to go to Japan, and then you get to Japan, and they're like, no, that's the Singapore office. Sorry. So you got to go to Singapore, and it's like a fun movie.
Yeah, except that in real life, you actually run out of money.
Well, you can just Gangnam Style, right? Just put it on your parents' credit cards.
It's like Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, but Harold and Kumar get some 5 stars.
There we go. We'll start a GoFundMe campaign
Mark
to
and
get
Pierre
me across Japan.
Go to Dana. There, I'll shoot.
Oh my, that would be great. All right. Well, I think that's a wrap for us.
Support our Patreon campaign for our new movie.
At $10,000, we'll start making our movie.
Oh boy. Send Pierre and Couch to Japan back and forth.
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right, so that's going to be a wrap for us. As usual, if you have questions, suggestions, complaints, hate mail, please send those to ffrkcentral@gmail.com. We can be reached pretty much all the time on Slack FFRK chat. More info on that at ffrkcentral.com/ffrkchat. My name is Pierre. I can be reached on the Twitters at ffrkcentral. You can reach Ben at...
You can reach me at etank88. I've started posting cute pictures of my dog.
And please like them. He gets really concerned when nobody likes them.
Okay, when my 5-star relic pulls get more likes than my cute dog, it's like, wow. I think I know what my Twitter brand is.
Yep, you
I'm
get
not happy about it.
More FFRK players that follow you than dog lovers. There we go.
Damn.
What if you have your dog playing FFRK?
And proving that he has more 5-star karma than me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll see how that works out.
All right, you can reach Mark at
Rev Mark Myers on the Twitter, at RevHP on the Slack chat. You can YouTube me, Final Fantasy Record Keeper Basics, FFRK Basics. Yeah, just send us mail. Tell us what you want to talk about, what you'd like to hear us talk about. It can be Final Fantasy related or not. How we feel about the sports. I don't know.
I'm not
any
a
of that
huge
kind of
cricket
stuff.
fan, but we're open-minded.
I love cricket. What's the game they play in Ireland? The national sport of Ireland. I always forget.
Saber toss?
No, that's Scotland. It's similar. It's similar to cricket. I always forget what it's called.
Saber tossing. You know when they get the log.
Yeah, log. The Highland Games. That's in Scotland. Yeah, like you lift up a giant log, like a tree, right? A tree, like a tree trunk, like a whole tree.
It's like shot put, but with a log.
Like with a tree, right? You've never seen men in kilts
Yep.
throw trees, Pierre?
Yep, I did.
There you
Yeah,
go.
that's good times.
According
What about
to
curling? Do you guys curl in Canada? Isn't
yeah,
that big in
we've
Canada?
we've got a killing team, obviously, because
Yeah.
Canada's covered in ice. So,
Yeah, awesome. I love curling.
according to Wikipedia, there's something called Gaelic football in Ireland. So there you go.
No, that's not what it is. It's called something. I'll have to look it up. Next time on
Next
the
time.
Crystal Chronicles.
See ya, everybody.
All right,
Ireland's
Ben's falling
Crystal
asleep.
Core.
It's too late for
Good night.
the show's kids, so that'll be a wrap for
I
us.
already
Thank
told you, I have to preserve my energy for Overwatch ranked queue.
There we go. So see you guys next Wednesday. We're on Twitch every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So join us there. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Thank you. Have a good one.